All right, day 2 of the Beast program. It's a leg day. So we're gonna start off with SSB squats. We're doing 5 at 6, 5 at 7, 5 at 8 for 2 sets. I'll explain more about why we're doing the SSB bar, how many days a week we're squatting, just more information for the leg day. But that's what we got going on. So let's get after it. All right, so I actually like the SSB bar because it gives my elbows a break. Typically when I do low bar squats, I tend to get some elbow tendinitis, which is common with a lot of lifters. So preserving my elbows is great for the SSB, as well as my shoulders, because you have this comfy, cozy pad on your shoulders and you get to hold the handle. So it's just a much more comfortable squat in my opinion. I also like it because it's a mixture of a front and back squat. And I have made a video about this before and I'll put it up right here, just kind of reiterating most of the points I'm talking about now. But I think it also kind of transfers over to the deadlift a little bit more because the muscles used, and it's that mixture of a front and back squat, which is kind of cool too.
Alright, yeah, so I like the SSB bar because I feel like it carries over to a lot of the strongman events. I think it builds stability for yoke. I think the upper back stimulation helps with stones, other loading implements. You know, you get a little more forward stimulus, so that leg strength could carry over to push press as well, and stuff like that.
I don't because, well, I don't, but I do now. I don't because they're my weakest squat variation, but since switching to strongman, I've enjoyed them now. I've enjoyed them more because of the carryover to deadlift with the, as compared to like a normal high bar squat, the muscles that it works and all that, how it carries over.
All right, so one of the downsides of the SSB bar is it does give a little bit more lower back fatigue, I find. So just trying to find a happy medium with the intensity, but wearing the belt for me does help. So this is my second day where I do wear a belt and any sort of gear that I want when doing the lift. But we're trying to preserve that lower back fatigue as much as possible to keep training as hard as possible. So it's like a double-edged sword, just something to be aware of. But you can, you know, change that variable with maybe a tempo, a pause, etc., so that you can't go as heavy. But that's just something to keep in the back of your mind when doing the SSB squat, is going to be the lower back fatigue. I have noticed with SSB squats, some people tend to round their upper back on the way up each rep. For me, it's never something I really have done, unless it's maybe really heavy and there's a little bit of form breakdown. I guess if you wanted more of an upper back stimulus when doing SSB squats, you could do that a little bit, but that's, I guess, personal preference. For me, I like to stay more upright so that it's keeping consistent with that mixture of a front and a back squat feel when squatting. What are you thinking about back squats?
Oh my word. I do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's how much I like them.
Back squats are your favorite, aren't they?
No, they, you know, they're good, but that high volume, gosh, like, back it up. The high volume is, you know, it's hard, but they're good.
All right, so next variation we do is we have our narrow stance hack squats. And the reason we chose to use the hack squat this block is, once again, to help with that stimulus to fatigue ratio. I think we get a really good stimulus from using the hack squat, but overall systemic fatigue is going to be lower than doing another barbell variation, just because it is a machine, it's on an angle, so you're just putting a little bit more isolation into the legs and taking off that pressure from the spine, so letting the spine just decompress a little bit versus doing a barbell variation. But on the flip side, we have PTSD from doing hundreds of sets of these with Dr. Mike and Charlie when we were doing bodybuilding. So very quickly during the hack squat, I started to question my decision to put this in the program. I also had to question my life and existence, and I felt myself drifting into the fifth dimension.
I like hack squats. I like getting some extra like volume in. I think, especially for my deadlift, like taking that narrow stance has a lot of carryover, and I am really strong off the floor, but you do want to, you know, focus on your strengths as well as your weaknesses, so you know, continue to get stronger in that area where you're strong. And I think it just, you know, builds a lot of low stress volume, like that can, you know, continue to build you up in your.
All right, guys, always remember to get that full ROM, okay? Full range of motion, especially on the squats, the hack squat, ass to grass. There's really no more reasoning why you shouldn't try to get full ROM when it comes to muscle development, and the more muscle development you have, the stronger you're gonna become. If you can't get, down super deep, just go to the deepest ability that you have and try to work on that over time, okay? Some of the guys we've had in here, they were always above parallel, but over time, they loosen up, they can get a little bit deeper. There's some other techniques and tricks, but we want to try to get to the deepest and fullest range of motion as possible when it comes to all training, but I really find it key on leg day. So typically right now we're training legs twice per week. We do have a pulling day that involves trap bar deadlifts, which I kind of think is like half of a leg day because there are some quads in with that trap bar. So the squat isn't a huge priority on my list right now. As long as I can train it enough to maintain my gains, maybe make a little bit of progress, but my goal isn't a squat number right now. It's the press and the deadlift. So the squat in my mind is going to be a way to enhance the deadlift. So whatever variations I need to do to do that, or whatever leg assistance exercises, I'm going to put those in rather than a more squat focused approach. So that's kind of the methodology behind the programming with this block as we lead into when I test in the middle of May. So hopefully this works, and if it doesn't, well, that sucks, but trial and error, baby. All right, so on this day we actually did 3 exercises, and a lot of people are like, what, 3 exercises, that's it? Well, here's the deal. The goal is strength training. So we're trying to get in big compound movements and prioritize strength and the movements associated with strength. So I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to hit tons and tons of volume and a million different exercises to hit my glutes, my calves, hamstring isolation, etc. I want to just try to overall get the best stimulus possible. So we put more work into those big main movements, and overall still the session, an hour and a half. Okay, so it's only 3 movements, an hour and a half, but we're putting in more working sets and pushing harder in those main movements rather than picking 5 or 6 exercises and doing a lot of sets, trying to hit little muscle groups when we get all that from the training stimulus of the big movements. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed day 2, leg day of the Beast program. Like I said, I'll probably release it for a limited time for you guys to try to do exactly what I'm doing. It may work for you, it may not, but I figured it'd be cool for you to just see what it's all about. So I'll put out every single day of this block for the first week, and then I'll probably do one towards the end to just show the difference from start and finish. But make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it all over your social platforms. It means a lot to me. Stay a lean, mean strength machine.